Okay. Yes, it is morning still. Good morning. Happy feast. Yeah, I've heard all the sharp jokes, back in the days when they used to advertise the razor blades, look sharp, be sharp. It's hard to live up to all that stuff, But, oh well. I know Mr. Gross will make a lot of fun of his name. He said there's one thing, he's looking forward to a new name in the kingdom. Okay. Yeah, the light is a little bright in the eyes. Okay. I'll see if I can do okay on this. We've all heard it said that time is money. I think there's a formula for it, actually. When applied in the right way, that's fine. It's true. It's necessary. Most of us can't create or produce everything we need. Some of us are pretty good at it, but these survivalists and everything, but most of us need the help of others. We're not good at everything we try to do. We may be able to do some things efficiently, and other things we're not so efficient at it, are we? I remember when I was maybe 12 or 13, maybe a little older, I don't remember, how I had a pair of blue jeans. We also called them dungarees. I don't think they call them much dungarees. I have no idea where that term came from. And they were a little bit long. And my mother was busier somewhere, and I thought, well, okay, she wasn't home at the time, so I thought I would just cut them off and fix them myself. I measured it twice, cut once, got it right. Then I considered how I wasn't really good at hand stitching, and I'd seen it done and everything. My mother had a sewing machine. She'd shown me how to do things on it, such as hem a straight line for a frayed towel or something simple like that. So I thought, oh, well, I had them cut off right, held them up. That was the right length and everything. I would just use the sewing machine since a lot of times she'd have me thread the stuff and do the bobbin for her, so I knew how to do it. I was ready to do the hems. Tackle pant hems. It was so simple, and that sewing machine is fast. I had it done in no time. Then I tried them on. It was a strange feeling. Something was wrong. I couldn't get my foot through the pant leg. It was sewn together like the sack at the bottom. I didn't think about that. Rather than in the circle, what do they have that thing that drops down so you can do it in a circle? Well, I didn't do that. As I said, there are things some of us are good at and some of us aren't so good at. I was okay at measuring and cutting. I got that part right. But the hemming of the pant cuffs, well, I didn't do so well with that. We all have time and opportunity in life. It's how we use it that matters. I remember seeing an award show a long time ago, and it's been a while since I've seen it, for the best TV commercials. Some of you have seen those things, and some of the oldest ones I remember, the first I remember seeing were, I think, the Alka-Seltzer commercials. Anybody remember poached oysters? Well, I really can't relate to that, but what about, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. Oh, yeah. As I said, I can't relate to the poached oysters, but I can relate to, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. It brings back memories from a few feasts back when I decided that, I was out with a group of our church people. I would eat one of the Outback Steakhouse's bloomin' onions, and that was back before they reduced the size of the onion. They used to be a pretty big onion. And I ordered that thing, and I think I had a regular meal too, but I did eat the whole thing. And I did regret it. And afterwards, I did remember the TV commercial where the guy says, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. Unfortunately, I didn't remember it before I ate the whole thing. Sometimes ads can be helpful. Sometimes they're insulting, but generally an ad is supposed to be informative and helpful. And they can be. That's how it's supposed to be. Entertaining. They try to make it entertaining because you tend to remember things like that if you enjoy it. I've seen an ad recently that made me think there just might be a lesson beyond the ad itself, what the ad was intended to convey. There is a TV commercial, and this is current, I think. There's a TV commercial for a bank card where the actor, I think Samuel Jackson, most of you know that, is showing how his credit card earns points or rewards or something. For every purchase, and that they can be redeemed for maybe real money or something of value. I think there are many cards that earn some kind of bonus points or credits, or, I know I have one that earns credits toward buying another car. They kind of lock you in when they do that kind of stuff. But, and the ad is talking about how that, if you don't have a credit card that does that, or his credit card, that you're missing out. That if it's not earning you something extra for the use, because you're going to buy things anyway. You may as well get some benefit out of it. And the punchline or hook for the ad is, and you know what it is, he says, "What's in your wallet?" Yeah. Is there anybody who hasn't seen that ad? Okay. Now, I don't happen to have his brand of credit card, but after all, I'm the guy who ate the whole thing. But what the actor says does make sense, S-E-N-S-E. And it might make sense, C-E-N-T-S, as in dollars and cents too. Now, I saw a spiritual comparison with what that ad was conveying. Our Christian lives on earth, in the context of all creation, is but for a little while. In James 4:14, it says, "For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away." We are limited, aren't we? Now, we can look to Jesus, who tells us how to use that time wisely. I'm going to read from Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 21. I think I'm in the King James. "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust does corrupt, where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust does corrupt, and where the thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." We know heaven's not the reward of the saved, but there is a heaven, and it's talking about putting your rewards where it counts, where they can't be destroyed. This is not talking about salvation by works. It's talking about how we spend our time, what we do with it. That's why we're here, which could be compared to our credit line or perhaps a credit card. We don't know how much time we have. So the famous phrase, "time is of the essence," which oftentimes you see in legal contracts, means you don't have forever to get it done. Who's that guy, cable guy, get her done, whatever? We've got limited time. Time is of the essence, and that's something that comes to mind with our lives. In Ephesians chapter 2:10, we're told, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God has before ordained that we should walk in them." And of course, as some critiquing works, they don't like the James, the book of James, some really critically, but he talks a lot about works are important. You don't just say, be well and be fed and do nothing. That's not going to get any reward points for us. Everything made a matter is limited, isn't it? We know ultimately how the world ends. And what comes after that is going to be eternal. The whole universe will be new. Everything made a matter is limited. And what comes to mind here is there's a church hymn we sing, "What work for the night is coming." There's also one called "Work for the day is coming," but the point being the same, that we have limited time, and work while you can work. Work while there's a light. So much of our music does convey real thought-provoking truth. And apparently, I think there's some recent educational studies from some of the famous universities, how that there's a lot to be done with rhyming and stuff in memory retention. And when they can make it, I think some award-winning teachers use methods to teach kids complicated subjects. It might have been the Khan Academy, I don't remember. And they did it through rhyming and things of that nature. And to this day, I use a lot in my profession, geomatics, surveying, engineering. I use a lot of memory things like, does anybody know what Ola had a heap of apples means? That's just the Ola had opposite over hypotenuse. This is for your sine, cosine, and tangent functions. So these are things that are well known, that music conveyed knowledge. And it was a way of preserving it when many people didn't read and write. You remember, that was taken advantage of oftentimes. Remember some of you remember about the top not come down, because many of the people couldn't read and write. And this old 1800s traveling preacher, Mr. Armstrong, would talk about that he would quote part of the verse in Matthew, I think 24. He was against women wearing their hair in a top knot. And he would quote just that one little line. Of course, the line wrapped around for the rest of the sentence where Jesus, let he that is on the housetop not come down. But the word top not come down was on one line. He would quote that. And since most people were kind of illiterate, they might make out the words. And Mr. Armstrong told about that. And that was really something how that goes back to the whole truth, and the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. He was telling part of a truth and then also misapplying that out of context. Okay, so we have a spiritual credit line, which is our time here on this earth, our life, and we don't know how long that is. We don't get a credit score in that respect, and I don't know how all these companies have different scores anyway, but when we do good works, and not just say good things. It's easy to say good things. But when we do good works, we're being recorded, so to speak. Maybe more literal and factual than we think. But, the hairs of our head are numbered. And even if we don't have very many, they're still numbered. And everything is counted or recorded. And even the tiniest little bird that falls it's recorded. God takes care of all of this. And that's just incredible. He knows everything, what works, what doesn't work. As we go about our lives, spending our allotted time, brethren, are we earning any reward points? And I don't know if I'd call this a split sermon. This is more like the sermonette, but I'll give Bill more time today. The question in closing is, in a little different way, brethren, what's in our spiritual wallet? What's in your spiritual wallet? Are we earning those reward points? We're spending our time, whether we like it or not. Are we going to have a return on that reward in the resurrection?